After travelling through the Arabian Sea for 10 days, Cyclone Biparjoy has now completed its 6-hour landfall in the Indian state of Gujarat. It is weakening. The cyclone resulted in widespread rain, storm surges and damage across Gujarat's western coastline and to the coast of Balochistan and Sindh in Pakistan. With wind speeds of 115 to 125 kilometers per hour, the cyclone uprooted trees, damaged electricity poles, causing roadblocks and power outages. According to the Relief Commissioner of Gujarat, at least 22 residents were injured and a total of 940 villages plunged into darkness. In Kutch district, the storm winds pushed the sea into low-lying coastal areas. Heavy rainfall and strong wind continue to hit Dwarka, Mandvi and Morbi. The high tidal waves and gusty winds continue to lash Mumbai as well. This also resulted in the death of 2 men in the Bhavnagar district in Gujarat, as per the district's revenue officer. He further added that at least 22 goat and sheep also died. In Kutch district, which was the worst affected region, there were no reports of deaths. Classified as a Category 3 very severe cyclonic storm, it is now moving northeastwards towards Rajasthan and is expected to weaken by the time it reaches the state. As per the Indian Met Department, heavy to extremely heavy rainfall will continue in Saurashtra and Kutch till 16th of June, while extremely heavy rainfall is likely in Rajasthan on the 16th and the 17th of June as the cyclone moved towards northwest. Further, the IMD added that people living in the low-lying areas of Rajasthan have been alerted as the weather department predicted chances of flash floods here. Intermittent rainfall is expected across Gujarat with heavy rainfall near the storm epicenter.
Whenever the climate conditions turn brutal, we have no option but to shift to such shelter homes. Though it is a troublesome process, but we are left with no option.
Now, more than 170,000 people in Gujarat and Pakistan were evacuated to safety before the arrival of Cyclone Biparjoy, and Karachi, which is an economic hub with a population of some 20 million people, face no immediate threat, but emergency measures are in place to protect against the expected wind and rain, as per Sherry Rahman, Pakistan's climate change minister.
In view of the data we shared with the military formations on the ground, around 100,000 people in the locality have to be evacuated.
After landfall, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Gujarat Chief Minister. The Prime Minister saw details of the steps taken by the state administration for the safety of wild animals, especially the lions. At least 80 national disaster relief teams and 12 state disaster relief teams have been deployed in key areas of Gujarat for relief work. They will focus on ensuring that essential services remain unaffected or at least are restored soon. Now, for more on this, we have with us our correspondent Disha Shah from Mumbai and Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik joining us from Islamabad. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Disha, my first question to you, could you start by getting us up to speed with the situation on ground? What can you tell us about the damage incurred? According to the Relief Commissioner, as I mentioned earlier, of Gujarat, at least 22 residents were injured and a total of 940 villages plunged into darkness. Also, 2 deaths reported here. What can you tell us?
Well, certainly we have seen that the landfall Cyclone Biparjoy did make a landfall in the state of Gujarat, and particularly Saurashtra and Kutch districts were impacted on the ground level. As per the information that we have confirmed and received from the Gujarat officials is the fact that 23 people have been injured due to the tree falling incident is what we understand, because remember there were 500 plus trees uprooted because of the high wind speed that we saw during the storm, because the landfall process did take place for 6 hours. So at that point in time it was extremely heavy rainfall along with the heavy wind speed, which led to more than 3,600 electricity poles also being collapsed. So now on the ground level the relief operations are going on. They are trying to clear the damages that have been caused on the ground. ground level. Specifically, they are trying to clear the trees that have fallen on the roads so that for the smooth travel access. On the other hand, 23 animals also died due to this particular storm. So this is the information that we are receiving. More than 1,000 villages did face power issues. There was no electricity at all through the night. So as we speak, in more than 50 such villages, the power supply has been restored, is what we are being told by the Gujarat government officials, and efforts are on to ensure that power is back in the remaining number of villages that I just mentioned. As far as death figure is concerned, it is still not confirmed whether those two deaths are because of storm or it is because of the other reasons. That is something which is still under investigation. So we are very much unclear as far as the number of casualties are concerned. But on the ground level, there were about 1 lakh plus people who were being evacuated and shifted to 1,500 such shelter homes. So by tomorrow morning, till the time there is clear access to the coastal districts and the roads, they will be shifted back.
Right. Also, let's just go across to Anas now. Anas, same question to you. What's the situation on ground in the affected areas?
The cyclone's progression is such that the situation is such that it has largely receded. The impact of it has not been much because Pakistan has not seen the landfall as it was being projected. Now it's on the path of slowing down, as what Pakistan Met Department, the PMD, says, and onwards it says that there will be some rains going forward. But largely speaking, the coastal areas or the impact of the cyclone is not as much as it was expected to be. With that, the situation on the ground, it remains pretty much along the expected lines, with heavy rains lashing out around the area where the landfall of the cyclone was expected. Yes.
Right, now going back to Disha, now Biparjoy, it's headed to Rajasthan. What can you tell us about the preparations in the state?
Well, that is right. As per the IMD's latest prediction, what we are given to understand is the fact now the cyclone Biparjoy is closely moving towards Rajasthan, but the intensity won't be that much, the impact won't be that much as we saw in the state of Gujarat, because as and when the cyclone Biparjoy is progressing, it will further weaken. At this given point in time, the very severe cyclonic storm has reduced to only cyclonic storm, is what the IMD is stating. But nevertheless, on the ground level, the authorities are saying that especially 2 districts have been issued red alerts in the state of Rajasthan. The IMD has issued for 2 districts red alert, which means that extremely heavy rainfall can be expected at the time when cyclone Biparjoy likely will pass or make a landfall in Rajasthan. So authorities are doing their preparations. They are trying to evacuate people who are living in the low-lying areas of those 2 districts. So that is being done as we speak. There are rescue teams also on the standby, NDRF, SDRF teams, especially located at the vulnerable areas and districts which the IMD has predicted will likely be impacted once there is extremely heavy rainfall when the cyclone Biparjoy passes Rajasthan.
Right. Anas, coming back to you now, what can you tell us about the progression of the cyclone?
Well, the progression of the cyclone is pretty much on track as it was expected. It's now receding. The impact of it has been way lesser. There would be some rains around the area of where its probable impact would have been. Its landfall was expected in Pakistan's KT Bandar, but fortunately that has not been the case. And even before that, it had started to take a dip after its landfall on the Indian side. So largely speaking, things seem to be under control, and the Pakistani authorities continue to be on standby. They say that they are not letting their guards down until and unless officially they hear from the authorities that the threat of the cyclone is over. But largely speaking, the threat along the city of Karachi, Pakistan's biggest city, and the port city as well, that has largely been mitigated. The Met Office has officially stated that Karachi is not in the cyclone prone zone anymore, and the city will be witnessing some showers and some gutsy winds, contrary to how it was being predicted earlier. Yes.
All right. Well, Disha and Anas, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We will, of course, continue to track the developments closely.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.